Hey everyone, welcome back to our podcast. I'm David.
And I'm Sarah. Super excited to have you with us today.
Today we're tackling a question that seems simple at first, but can really stump language learners. Should you learn grammar first or vocabulary first?
Yes, the ultimate debate. And trust me, we've both tried every method under the sun at some point.
Absolutely. I remember when I was learning French years ago. I spent weeks memorizing verb conjugations, the present, past, future, all the tenses. I could write perfect sentences and exercises, but funny enough, couldn't order a croissant correctly in Paris.
Oh no, I can totally relate. I tried Spanish the vocabulary first way. I knew tons of words and phrases after just a month, and I could ask for directions, order food, and even gossip a little. But when it came to speaking in proper sentences, I sounded like a robot.
Exactly. So both methods have pros and cons, and today we're going to dig deep into them, share our experiences, and give you practical tips for balancing both.
Let's start with grammar first. This is where learners focus on sentence structures, tenses, and rules before worrying too much about vocabulary.
Right. Think of it like learning the rules of the road before driving a car. You need to know what goes where, even if your vocabulary, car, is small.
That's a perfect analogy. And honestly, I tried grammar first when learning German. I bought those thick textbooks and spent hours on declensions, gender rules, and word order.
Oh, yes. German. Der, die, das. My brain hurts just thinking about it.
Let's talk about that. And while I could technically form correct sentences in writing, speaking was a different story. My sentences sounded like they came out of a textbook, not like natural conversation.
That's the main con of grammar first. It can feel very abstract. You know the rules, but don't have enough words to actually communicate.
But there are definitely benefits. Grammar first gives you a strong foundation. Once you learn vocabulary later, you can combine it correctly and avoid embarrassing mistakes.
Exactly. And it's especially helpful if your goal is exams, writing formally, or learning a language like Russian or Arabic where grammar is really complex.
Here's a personal story. When I learned Italian grammar first, I could conjugate verbs in every tense flawlessly, but when I met locals, I realized I couldn't say, "Where is the nearest cafe?" without pausing, thinking about the right words.
And that's a reality check, right? Grammar first is great for accuracy, but if your goal is real-world communication, it can feel slow and frustrating. Now, vocabulary first is basically the opposite. You start by learning words, phrases, and expressions before worrying too much about perfect grammar.
I love this approach. When I learned Spanish, I focused on the 1,000 most common words. I could greet people, order food, ask for directions, all within the first few weeks.
That's fantastic for motivation. Nothing feels better than actually being understood after a few weeks of learning.
Exactly. And it's also practical. You can survive in real-life situations, even if your sentences aren't perfect.
But here's the trade-off. If you focus only on vocabulary, you risk forming broken sentences that native speakers might understand, but that aren't grammatically correct.
Totally. I remember trying to say, "I yesterday go to market," instead of, "I went to the market yesterday." People understood me, but it sounded awkward.
Another con, bad habits. Once you get used to saying sentences incorrectly, it's hard to unlearn them later.
True. So, vocabulary first is fast, fun, and motivating. But without grammar, you might plateau sooner than you think.
Okay, let's have a mini debate. Imagine you have 6 months to learn Japanese for travel. Grammar first or vocabulary first?
I'd lean slightly toward vocabulary first. I'd want to survive in real situations, ordering food, asking for directions, buying tickets.
I see your point. I might lean grammar first a bit just to avoid saying something awkward or unintentionally rude. Japanese grammar is tricky. The wrong particle can completely change the meaning.
True, but even if you mess up, people usually appreciate the effort. And once you're in Japan, you'll pick up grammar naturally through conversations.
So here's the conclusion. Context matters. If your goal is communication, vocabulary first works. If it's formal writing or exams, grammar first has the edge.
And here's the golden nugget. You don't have to choose. You can and should combine both approaches.
Absolutely. I teach students to start with high-frequency vocabulary, words you'll actually use every day, and then layer in essential grammar.
And not just any grammar. Focus on what helps you communicate immediately. Simple tenses, question forms, and sentence structure.
Here's a tip. Learn grammar through sentences, not rules alone. For example, instead of memorizing past tense equals verb plus ed, see it in a sentence. I walked to the store yesterday.
That way, grammar feels meaningful and connected to words you actually know.
Another tip, practice actively. Speak, write, even think in the language. Vocabulary gives you the tools, grammar gives you the blueprint.
And don't stress about perfection. Mistakes are part of learning.
Let's give a real-life example. I was learning Thai. I knew words like krap and sawadee, but I ignored sentence structure at first.
Oh no, what happened?
I tried to say, I go market tomorrow, but I had the wrong word order. The shopkeeper smiled politely, but clearly had no idea what I meant.
Been there. That's why balance is key. Learn the words and the patterns in which they fit.
Another personal story. When I learned Russian, I started grammar first. I knew how to decline nouns in all 6 cases. But without vocabulary, I couldn't ask, where is the bathroom?
And that's the frustration many learners face. Grammar first, without vocabulary, is like having the map, but no destination. Vocabulary first, without grammar, is like having the car, but no steering wheel.
Perfect analogy.
Okay, let's summarize. 1. Grammar first builds a strong foundation, but it can feel abstract and slow. 2. Vocabulary first is fast, motivating, and practical, but may lead to awkward sentences. The best approach? A balanced mix. Learn high-frequency vocabulary, essential grammar, and practice actively.
And consistency beats perfection. 10 minutes a day of balanced learning is way better than cramming for hours.
Also, make it fun. Listen to music, watch shows, chat with friends, and immerse yourself.
And remember, language learning is a journey, not a sprint. Celebrate small wins, using a new word correctly, forming a sentence without thinking, or making a native speaker laugh.
Exactly. Whether you start with grammar or vocabulary, what matters most is that you keep learning and practicing.
Thanks for joining us on Episode 3. We hope today's discussion gave you clarity and motivation.
And if you have your own stories about grammar versus vocabulary, we'd love to hear them. Send us a message or leave a comment.
Until next time, keep learning, keep speaking, and most importantly, keep having fun with it.
Bye, everyone.